In the last year, I've been an investor of cryptocurrency, and I wanted to go through all of the tips and tricks that I've basically learned and kind of lessons learned. So let's delve right in. Hey everyone, this is Barry from NFT Music Info. How are you doing today? So I wanted to go through all of the different tips and tricks and thoughts that I've had on crypto from investing in crypto in the last year. So we're going to start off with number one. Tip number one, never invest more than you can afford to lose. That's so important because you don't want to have to be really upset if you lose on your investments. So that's something very important to consider. Also, the market is incredibly volatile. So it's really important to just be aware things are going to go up, things are going to plummet as well. Things are going to go up very quickly. Sometimes it might just go up a tiny little blip, but other times they can absolutely plummet. And the last week has shown that one token in particular lost like 90% of its profits. So you can lose a lot of money in crypto. So it's very risky as an investment. Now, I'm not a financial advisor, but something that's really important to be aware of is to keep track of what you've bought and at what rate you've bought that as. So, for example, say you buy Bitcoin, which is predominantly the majority of people that will want to invest their money. Find out what rate you actually bought that as and when, because it's very difficult to track on these exchanges whether you've actually made a lot of profit or not. Particularly if you're moving and switching money around, maybe you want to convert some of the Bitcoin currency to Ethereum so that you can actually use that, say, in MetaMask to purchase NFTs. Just make a note that you've taken that money out, just so that you can realistically check every so often where you're at and whether you're actually profiteering from it. Tip number 3 is to diversify into multiple different projects so that offer a valid use case. So spread the risk, which is what I'm trying to say. And spreading the risk is really important. I wish I did that. 90% of my currency was all in one particular currency, and I wished I had diversified from the very beginning. But the reason for that was because I didn't want to invest a lot of money in cryptocurrency, and I got a lot of perks if I invested in the CRO token, which, for those people that don't know, you can get a prepaid card, like a debit card you can basically get. And this prepaid debit card is amazing because you get so many rewards. You get like free Netflix, you get free Spotify. Can't find it now, where's it gone? I own one of these, okay, which is crypto.com. And if you invest, say, $3,000, I think it was at the time, then you'll get your free Netflix every month. You'll get a rebate. Same with Spotify. You can go to airport lounges for free. So there's lots of different perks. You got state rewards every month, like 10%, which was really cool. But the last couple of weeks, they announced changes to their plans and fees. And it turned out that it was a bit of an introductory offer. You still get your free Spotify and your Netflix and that kind of thing, and airport lounges. But yeah, the money you can actually make off the card now is a lot less. So that made the token absolutely plummet. People were selling, they were fed up. And since then, they've made changes to kind of improve things a little. But even so, it's taken a big hit. So always try and diversify your cryptocurrency. Tip number 4 is to always do your due diligence, your own research. It's really important that you research these projects. YouTube is a great source for actually looking into projects, particularly even whitelisted projects come up quite often. And but yeah, definitely research it. Have a look at news articles. Have a look at the latest updates on, say, Google for that particular token that you might want to invest in. Tip number 5, don't get emotionally attached. I had an issue last year in that I was new to investing. I'd never invested really before, had the cryptocurrency. The market crashed last year. And what did I do? I sold because I was panicking. I was like, I'm going to lose all this money. It's going to go to zero. Oh my gosh, I was checking it every 10 minutes. It was an obsession to begin with. And that obsession was great because it incentivized me to do my research, to look into this technology and to understand it. Again, I wouldn't have done this channel without it. But at the same token, I was too reactive. I sold too quickly. So it's something to bear in mind. Try not to get emotionally attached. And what really does help is if you follow tip number 1, which is, don't put in more than you can afford to lose. Tip number 6, you only win or lose when you sell or buy. But yeah, when you sell. So if the market's crashed and you are devastated, if you can afford to lose that money and you've got other money elsewhere, then you can afford to keep it there until it goes back up again or hopefully makes a profit. So that's something that's really important. Is people are going, oh my gosh, I've lost all of this money. I'm really stressed about it. You haven't lost that money until you come to sell it. And just to give you an example of how volatile the market is, Coinbase, which is one of the most biggest market exchanges that there is for cryptocurrency, basically said if they went bankrupt, people would lose their cryptocurrency. So doesn't that just show you how delicate this market is? So something to really bear in mind. And I wished I had known that from the beginning. And for them to announce this only last week is just crazy. Also, stable coins are not always stable coins, particularly if they follow an algorithm. So for example, there was a Luna Terra currency, which was always supposed to be $1. It was a stable coin. And so lots of people trusted that and they put all of their money into it, or as much money as they could. But then it dropped to like 66 cents and the market just crashed because of that. It was like panic because stable coins are always supposed to be $1. So always be wary about stable coins, particularly if you're staked in stable coins. When the market does crash, you then can't pull your money out. There's normally restrictions. So for example, with CRO, I have to stake my coins for 6 months as a minimum. It's part of the agreement. I personally don't like to hold money in, same with savings accounts, because if you can't take it out, you don't know what's going to happen in the meantime. Another tip I wished I'd known, which is all cryptocurrencies pretty much follow Bitcoin. If Bitcoin goes up, they're going to go up. If Bitcoin plummets, they're going to plummet. Wish I'd known that from the beginning. But in that case, it's still good to diversify. People say to buy the dip, which means buy it when it's low and sell when it's high. That's actually very difficult to do, especially at those peaks. And the reason for that, when you look at these charts, cryptocurrency charts, you'll notice these spikes. Those spikes at the very tip of the iceberg could be literally just like 10 minutes before it goes plummeting back down again. It is a gamble and nobody knows when the market's going to change, and it changes like the wind. So just be conscious of that. And just to give another example of how volatile the market is, so Terra, which valued on the top 10 most valued cryptocurrencies, dropped to below $1 on Wednesday this week, before it peaked close to $120 last month. So can you imagine the people that have potentially lost if they're selling now? So just bear that in mind. So those are all of the tips that I wished I had known from the beginning. I could have prevented a lot of mistakes if I'd stuck to those rules and tips. But let me know how you've got in cryptocurrency. It would be great to find out. So take care, everyone. I'll speak to you again soon. Bye.